Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam and welcome back to the AFI project. Today we're going to be taking a look at a very depressing movie called Sophie's Choice. This was directed by Alan J. Pakula, who also directed All the President's Men, and it starred Meryl Streep, Peter MacNicol, and Kevin Kline making his film debut. This is based on the novel of the same name written by William Styron, and it tells the story of a young writer, played by Peter MacNicol, who moves from his home down south to Brooklyn, New York in 1947, just about 2 years after World War II has ended. He moves in with a pair of Holocaust survivors, played by Meryl Streep and Kevin Kline respectively. And the movie covers the very high highs and the very low lows of the relationship between all three. It's pretty safe to say that Meryl Streep has to be included in the conversation for the greatest actresses of all time. Like her or don't like her, it's hard to disagree that she has earned a reputation of quality over the years. I believe it's this movie and Kramer vs. Kramer that really showcase, or at least people point to as, those are Meryl Streep's very best. Sophie's Choice would turn out to be Streep's big breakthrough. She wanted this role desperately, and in my research I found that she literally obtained a bootleg copy of the screenplay, read it, and just threw herself at director Alan Pakula, literally begging for the role. And she must have had a lot of self-confidence in herself because she ended up winning an Oscar for this. This was yet another first-time watch for me. I had always heard just amazing things about this movie, and the only thing that I really knew about it was that it was referenced in a King of Queens episode once. And so now that I have seen it, I can safely say that I'm not crazy about it, but the acting in this movie is just on par, like across the board. But there's one scene that kind of cast in bronze, if you will. Her performance is just one of the all-time greats, at least for me. And that is the scene that is probably the most referenced in out of all of the scenes in the movie. Well, the aforementioned Sophie's Choice, where she is about to go to Auschwitz, she has her 2 children, and the Nazi officer walks up to her and says, "Send one of your kids, choose one." And it is just the most heartbreaking stuff you could ever imagine. Like Fear Factor, but the real thing. She very clearly does not want to give up her kids, so it's like she tries every trick in the book to try and say to this Nazi, "Please don't take my kids." And because of her indifference, they take them both. And her reaction is just so heartbreaking. If your heart doesn't break, then just you need to check your pulse. She has other really good scenes in the modern times in New York, but literally from the aforementioned Choice through the Auschwitz stuff is just really, it's just heartbreaking. But Meryl Streep is just, she makes it all work. But there are 2 other main actors in this, so I suppose I should talk about them. Starting with Peter MacNicol. Now, to be fair, I only know Peter MacNicol for 2 things. The Mr. Bean movie that was released in the late 90s, and as the henchman to Vigo the Carpathian in Ghostbusters 2. There's a kind of will they, won't they dynamic between Stingo and Sophie, to the point where you're like, come on guys, like just find a way to get together, because Nathan is just a horrible person. In other movies, this kind of cum-si, cum-sa attitude can be very annoying, but here it really works. And speaking of Nathan, let's talk about him. He's played by Kevin Kline, and Kevin Kline has had a very long and successful career, going up to just about the present day. So he's been everywhere. I just recently saw him in Here Today, the Billy Crystal movie, so he's been around, and this is his debut. And wow, what a debut. There are scenes where he feels like he's trying to be a genuine person. Keyword on trying. However, the rest of the time he is just a complete jerk. Like, it's not fun. It's not fun to watch. Some of the things he hurls to Sophie are just so painful to watch. You just want to crawl through the screen and be like, you leave her alone, damn it.
Stop it. Get some help.
And it's especially bad when you consider all the crap that Sophie went through during the war. It's like throwing gasoline on the fire. If the job of Kevin Kline was to make me hate this character, then mission accomplished. And at the end of the day, this is very much an acting movie. This is very much a tour de force, if you will, between the three main actors, Meryl Streep, Kevin Kline, and Peter MacNicol. And all three of them are just brilliant. This is, on occasion, not a very fun movie to watch, but one I do recommend nonetheless. But that is all for me. Thank you so much as always for watching. Next time on the AFI Project, we're going to the early 90s and talking about a gangster movie. And when it comes to gangster movies, there are a few movies that are talked about in the same breath. The Godfather trilogy and Goodfellas. And that's what I'm going to be covering. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.